In a world drenched in steel and sorcery, where monsters walk among men and men become monsters, there are tales too strange for bard or book, tales whispered in the dark, traded over dying campfires, and dismissed by scholars as superstition. But some legends refuse to die, some dreams do not end, and some monsters are never truly slain. Tonight we step into the forgotten path of the White Wolf himself. This is The Witcher, Legend of the Hollow Moon, and this is Mystery Still Prevails. The village of Velkamar hadn't seen the sun in 37 days. Fog clung to the trees like cobwebs. Cattle died in their pens, drained of blood. Children wept in their sleep and never woke up. The elders whispered the name Alp, but never louder than a breath. Then, one night, he arrived. A man with white hair, eyes like molten gold, and twin swords on his back. A witcher, Geralt of Rivia. They didn't cheer when he came. They only watched, silent and half afraid. Witchers weren't heroes. They were the last option before graves. The alderman met him outside the chapel. "It's been feeding," he said. "Every third night. Always children. No marks. No tracks. Just gone." Geralt nodded once. "And the moon?" The old man looked up. "It's green now. Some nights it flickers, like it's alive." Geralt said nothing, just walked into the fog. He began where the first child had vanished. A small cottage near the tree line. The mother, hollow-eyed, could only speak in whispers. "I heard her laughing. Then silence. No scream, no cry, just silence." Geralt found no broken windows, no signs of forced entry. Just a pale ribbon under the bed, stained with something darker than blood. It smelled of ash and sleep. That night, he brewed black blood and laid in the child's bed. He didn't sleep. Not really. But something came. It didn't walk. It slithered through the wall like smoke, took the form of a girl with no eyes, and leaned close to his ear. It whispered, "You're not dreaming, Witcher. You're remembering." Geralt struck with silver. The room exploded in flame. When the villagers arrived, the house was in ruins. But Geralt stood unharmed. On his blade, a drop of thick, black ichor. Not blood, not entirely. "It's not just an Alp," he said. "Something older, something nesting inside the dream." He looked at the sky. The moon pulsed, green, flickering, hollow. This was no simple hunt. This was a legend waiting to be remembered. Geralt didn't sleep that night. He sat in the chapel cellar, staring at the dried blood runes. Every so often, he'd hear whispers from the stones, soft and cruel, like a child humming in reverse. At dawn, he returned to the woods. He found 3 more bodies by the river bend, a woman and 2 young men. Their skin looked like wax stretched over bone, not a drop of blood left. The Alp was hunting faster, growing bold. That night, he set a trap. A circle of salt and moonwort near the old well, bones from a drowned calf, a silver bell tied to an oak. He waited. At midnight, the bell rang. And then, nothing. Then it came. Not as a monster, but as a little girl in a nightgown. "You can't hurt me," it said. Geralt raised his blade. "I don't need to hurt you. I just need you to bleed." He tossed a vial. It burst in light. Sunlight trapped in alchemy. The Alp screamed as its illusion shattered. Wings, fangs, black veins. Geralt struck. The creature vanished in mist. But it bled. Back in the village, he studied the blood. "It's no longer bound to one realm," he said. "You gave it too much." The elder's face paled. Geralt pointed to the chapel. "Those runes are old, sacrificial. You didn't banish it 50 years ago. You made a deal." The elder wept. "You fed it children to protect your own." Geralt's voice turned cold. "Then someone must replace it. Not as prey, as its jailer." The elder nodded. He understood. The ritual required blood and binding. At the stroke of midnight, the Alp returned. It screamed as the runes ignited. The elder's soul became its prison. He collapsed, alive but blind, mumbling dreams in a dead tongue. The next morning, birds sang for the first time in decades. The villagers offered thanks. Geralt took nothing. He rode away, but something watched from the chapel cellar, and in the wind the bell still rang. Geralt rode west. On the third night, he dreamed, not of monsters, of himself, of a child's laughter. He woke to find Roach gone. In her place stood a girl with pale eyes. "You left the door open," she whispered. Then she vanished. He followed hoofprints into the woods. The trees bent inward like ribs, and at the center, a well, blackened by fire, clawed by stone. A voice from the deep said, "You didn't finish it." Then it rose, a creature of ash and stolen faces. No mouth, just eyes stitched into its chest. "You killed the Alp," it whispered, "but the dream remains." Geralt fought. Steel clashed smoke. He planted a memory anchor, an obsidian dagger. The creature took form, ribbed, skeletal, shrieking. He struck. It shattered. But in that moment, Geralt felt something pass into him. He awoke days later in a hermit's hut. "You didn't kill it," she said. "You became its vessel." Geralt rode through Sodden like a ghost. The people saw him but gave no greeting. Some whispered. One boy crossed himself when their eyes met. He understood why. There was a heaviness behind his eyes now, a presence, something watching from within. The dream hadn't died, it had just changed hosts, and Geralt of Rivia was dreaming. Each night, visions crept in, twisting places he knew. Kaer Morhen buried in snow, wolves feasting on corpses, Yennefer's face melting into ash, Ciri screaming as a black sun burned behind her. He tried potions, signs, even meditation. Nothing helped. He needed answers. They told him to seek Teirin, an exiled druidess near the dead marshes. She knew things, they said, saw deeper than most. It took him 2 weeks to find her. She lived in a hollow tree, older than the empire of Nilfgaard. Her face was lined with moss, her eyes blind, but they didn't need to see. She smelled him the moment he entered. "You carry a wound that bleeds inward," she rasped. "Something sleeps in your shadow, Witcher." "I killed the Alp," Geralt said, "sealed its body, banished its dream. Why is it still inside me?" Teirin placed a finger on his chest. "You didn't banish it. You became its vessel." Geralt's jaw clenched. "Then how do I cast it out?" "You don't. You must walk where it was born. Not the village. The place beneath it." "What place?" She smiled. "Where the first dream was made. Where the hollow moon touched the earth." She gave him a map, scrawled in blood and mud. It led to a valley untouched by maps, hidden behind illusions. A place even druids feared to name. Geralt followed it. The trees thinned. The ground grew soft and black, like bruised flesh. Then he found it. A crater, silent and moonlit, with a stone altar at its center. Above, the sky flickered, as if behind a veil. The wind carried laughter. He stepped forward. The world shifted. Suddenly, he wasn't in the forest. He was somewhere else. A pale plain stretched forever, with moons hanging like lanterns on invisible strings. Shadows crawled across the ground, long and thin, and in the center stood a figure. It looked like Geralt, but its eyes were hollow. The figure spoke. "You killed the body. You severed the dream, but you never faced the origin." Geralt raised his blade. "I'm facing it now." The doppelganger smiled. "Number, you're facing yourself." And with that, the sky cracked open, and the dream bled into reality. The sky tore like paper. From its wound poured memories, not Geralt's, but the creature's. Lives it had stolen, dreams it had twisted. 1,000 eyes opened in the void above, and the shadow, his double, stepped forward. "I am the part of you that never rested," it whispered. "Every kill, every regret, every night you buried your pain beneath silence." Geralt didn't flinch. "You're not me. I am the thing you left behind." it said, smiling. You fought monsters so long, you forgot what it means to be human. That's why I found you. You were already hollow. The blade in Geralt's hand felt heavy. I kill monsters, he said. You are a monster, it replied. And then it struck. They fought in silence. No screams, no grunts, just steel against steel. Each blow perfectly mirrored. Each movement familiar. The shadow moved like him. No, was him. Every block, every riposte, perfectly timed. But it didn't tire. Geralt did. His breath grew ragged. His arm burned. Then, he faltered. The shadow drove its blade into his side. Cold fire spread through his veins. It leaned close. You'll die here, and I will wear your skin. Walk your path. Sleep beside your sorceress. Raise your girl. Geralt coughed blood and smiled. No, he whispered. You won't. With his last strength, he pulled a glass dagger from his belt. The obsidian shard the druidess gave him. Not meant for the dream, meant for himself. He drove it into his own heart. The world shattered. The plain dissolved into ash. The moons blinked out. The shadow screamed, not in anger, but in fear. It clutched at Geralt's body as it crumbled, but the Witcher had already fallen, and in that sacrifice, the dream was sealed. Geralt awoke in the forest, alone, alive. The wound in his chest was gone, but a scar remained, shaped like a crescent moon. Roach stood nearby, unharmed. He climbed into the saddle. His hands trembled. He'd won. But part of him stayed in that place, forever. Legends don't always end with the hero's triumph. Sometimes they end in silence, in sacrifice, and in scars that never heal. You've just heard one such tale, buried deep in the mud of memory, whispered by those who dare remember. A tale of Geralt of Rivia, of the hollow moon, and of what sleeps beneath our dreams. If you're still listening, then Mystery Still Prevails.